Hey hockey player, Coach Garner here from hockeytraining.com, and in today's video, I am going to have Kevin demonstrate my 7 favorite lower body hockey training exercises that you can do to improve your all-round on-ice performance. Let's go! The first exercise we're going to be going over in this video is the T-stand. Now, this is an exercise you guys have seen a lot from me in the past, particularly in my edge work specific videos. And the reason why is because the T-stand very effectively trains the muscles that are responsible for both ankle stability and hip stability. A lot of people think having optimal edge work is just about having ankle mobility. And although that is critical for getting deep on your inside and outside edges, that mobility is only beneficial if it is paired with optimal stability, because that stability is what's going to really allow you to grit your blade into the ice and blast off with the highest level of explosive speed, stride length, and stride frequency. The T-stand, since it checks the boxes for both ankle stability and hip stability at the same time, it makes it a no-brainer for awesome edge work training. Plus, you get the added benefit of training your balance and coordination at the exact same time. To perform this exercise properly, make sure your back leg, which is in the air, is really in full hip extension. So you're not just letting it hang, but you're truly flexing your glute and getting that leg up as high as you can, and ensuring your arms are in full extension as well, and they're not just hanging. Important point, you want your pelvis to be parallel with the ground. One aspect of this exercise is hip stability, but you're going to lose that component if you allow your hip to go on top of your other hip. You see Kevin here will intentionally demonstrate it wrong, which is a common compensation that a lot of hockey athletes will do. But if you can keep your pelvis pointing directly to the ground in that it is perfectly parallel with the ground, that is the best way to execute the T-stand and get the most benefits out of this exercise. Up next, we have our number 2 exercise of the video, which is the Bulgarian split squat. Look, the Bulgarian split squat, in terms of bang for the buck, is up there with the best of them. You can use this exercise for endurance. You can use it for strength. You can use it for hypertrophy. It's excellent for structural balance. The list goes on and on and on and on. And it's an exercise I really think is mandatory for any hockey training program to include. When you are doing the Bulgarian split squat properly, you can get hip mobility due to the added range of motion that lifting your rear foot up does towards the movement. You can also get a sneaky ankle mobility benefit as well, because it is absolutely 100% okay to have your knee track over the toes in this exercise. It is a long dead myth that you can't have your knee over your toe during lower body training, provided your heel is still in contact with the ground. If the heel's in contact with the ground, you are A-okay, good to go. If you don't want to add a load to this exercise, it's great for endurance and building up your work capacity. However, this movement pattern is also something you can safely add a dumbbell or even barbell to in order to load it for greater strength and hypertrophy benefits. Make sure you move through a complete and total range of motion in that you're going all the way down and all the way back up. You don't want to hang out just at the top of this movement, because you won't be getting the hip unlocking benefits that you otherwise would have got. Make sure with this exercise you control the tempo, keep your core nice and tight, have a great posture, and this will be one of the best movements you ever did for your hockey performance. Our third exercise that we're going to be going over is the Cossack Squat. Now, the Cossack Squat is the king movement for unlocking that hip mobility. You see the trend here, a lot of hip mobility talk, and that's because if you want elite skating, you need elite hip mobility for both stride length and stride frequency. The Cossack squat is unbelievable for this, and it develops incredible hip mobility. It is an excellent exercise for hypertrophy and strength as well. You can add it to a warm-up before big compound movements like your deadlifts and squats to really warm up the hips and lower body. Or you can even add this directly into your workout with a dumbbell in a goblet position, or even without the dumbbell, in order to add additional strength and hypertrophy stimulus in the right areas for your lower body training. This Cossack squat movement uniquely trains it. It's one of the biggest reasons why I love it, because it uniquely trains the groin. If you look at any hockey players before practice or after practice, they're almost always doing that frog stretch, right? It's like constantly, it's like the go-to for all hockey players. And one of the reasons they have a natural inclination to do this is because hockey players have a problem with their long adductors. It's typically very tight and tender in all hockey players. So they seek relief in this area, and it's of no surprise that because of this length, this tenderness, and this tightness in hockey players, that you see a lot of injuries in the knee and the groin in hockey players as well. Cossack squats strengthens this groin muscle so that you don't have to worry about this injury risk, and you're not going to be so reliant on performing the rocking frog stretch before you do anything. That's still a great stretch to perform, but it's a lot better to perform it when you have a strong and well-balanced lower body to handle all-out speeds on the ice. Perform the Cossack squat. Up next, we have our fourth exercise in this video, which is the skater squat. Now, the skater squat really lives up to its name because it does a lot of things at once. It is what I would refer to as a hybrid movement. What you're essentially seeing here is a blend between pistol squats and T-stands at the same time. Biomechanically speaking, you're getting a squatting pattern at the knee and a hinging pattern at the hip. This puts it in a super rare class of exercises that allows you to train both the anterior chain and the posterior chain at the exact same time. Because it's doing both from a muscular perspective, you're getting it all. You're meshing squatting and hinging patterns, which is going to hammer the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, you name it. The lower body is getting hit with constant tension and very high levels of intramuscular activation on every single rep. And because of the degree of difficulty with this movement, it allows you to train things such as strength and hypertrophy very effectively with no weight added at all. Excellent, excellent option for those purposes. Not to mention, it also includes a dynamic cross-body stability challenge. This means that although you're training one side of your body for the purpose of building up your lower body to become a faster skater, you're actually getting a sneaky cross-body core stability effect happening at the exact same time, which is absolutely going to help you increase all aspects of your hockey performance. If you're a hockey player watching this right now, you should be doing skater squats. Our fifth exercise in this video is going to be the skater lunge. Now, the skater lunge, first and foremost, it mimics the crossover movement out in the ice. If you had a still frame of an athlete doing crossovers on the ice, and then you paused it right at the moment where the back leg is behind your body in the skater lunge, you're getting that crossover position. You're focusing on the glutes, the hamstrings, the groin. And because you're pushing off of one leg and trying to softly land on the other, it's really helping you focus on your hip and ankle mobility at the same time. Bang for the buck movements is what optimal hockey training is all about. There is a lot happening here from a biomechanical standpoint when you're looking at Kevin perform this. You're improving your agility, you're increasing your strength and endurance, and you're doing it while doing cross-directional core stabilization so that you don't fall over. This is dynamic, this is functional, and since you're moving in that crossing pattern, you're increasing the specificity behind behind your exercise selection so that it is very sport specific for improving your crossovers out in the ice, which is absolutely going to give you the edge, especially in the agility department during games. If you want to perform a skater lunge properly, make sure you engage your core, but most importantly, land with soft knees. And keep your eyes on a single spot so you don't topple over. One of the best cues I found when working with athletes one-on-one in person is that I would tell them to think about going side to side rather than up and down. When you put your mindset in a place where you're moving side to side, not only are you going to be more balanced and coordinated throughout this movement, but it's also going to be more sport specific for the crossover by the time you hit the ice. Up next, we have everybody's favorite exercise, which is the skater bound. But more specifically, this is the forward skater bound. I really like the forward skater bound because it is as hockey specific as training gets. It's high velocity, it's explosive, it's lateral, but it also contains that excellent 45-degree backward stride that you really are going to be exposed to out in the ice. Other lateral training variations may be just directly lateral and that you're jumping from side to side. Although this is still highly beneficial for hockey and can absolutely be incorporated intelligently into a hockey training program, the forward motion of this replicates your stride better because when you're on the ice, you are pushing down and back in a 45-degree angle exactly as you would in the forward skater bound. I love this movement for hockey players. It develops explosive skating speed incredibly well. I find it's great to improve stride length in a hockey player. And one of the best parts of it is that it's unilateral, meaning you're training only one leg at a time. This may seem obvious when first looking at the movement, but a lot of people don't take into consideration that this removes explosive imbalances from one side to the other. Meaning, when you train this movement effectively within your hockey training program design, you're no longer going to have a preferred takeoff leg out in the ice. And instead, both legs are going to be maximally explosive. So no matter what position you find yourself in during a game, you are going to have that first step quickness and acceleration you need to get ahead of your opponents. The last and final exercise I want to make sure is on your radar for lower body hockey training is the Nordic hamstring curl. Look, the Nordic hamstring curl is my favorite hamstring exercise, and it's one that I believe should be in every hockey player's training program. That's right, if you're a youth player, high school, college, semi-pro, NHL, men's leaguer, no matter where you're at in your hockey life, the Nordic hamstring curl has a place within your hockey training program design. But a lot of people completely avoid it simply because it's very difficult. So I'm going to have Kevin show you through simplified variations of it so you can get started on this awesome movement. The Nordic hamstring curl, one of the reasons why I'm so excited about it is it's one of the best ways to load the hamstring in an eccentric way so that it can gain eccentric strength. You see when Kevin's lowering down slowly here, he's targeting the hamstrings, and that's what's slowing his upper body from just collapsing to the ground. This strengthens the hamstring while they're being lengthened, which is the most important aspect of preventing groin, hamstring, and knee injuries out in the ice. But it gets better than this because studies have demonstrated that inserting a Nordic hamstring curl into a training program led to improvements in 10-meter sprint times. This means more explosive speed and acceleration for you out in the ice. Beyond this, Nordic hamstring curls have also been demonstrated to improve repeat sprint times as well, which means improvements in anaerobic conditioning for you out in the ice so that you're not just explosive, but you can stay explosive. So, if getting faster, preventing injuries, and improving your conditioning is in your alley, get going on the Nordic hamstring curl. This video was all about showing you the best lower body hockey training exercises that you can do to make sure you're getting well-rounded results in your explosive speed, conditioning, agility, mobility, structural balance, and overall edge work. However, the amount of sets and reps you do for each movement and how often you perform it throughout the week depends completely upon the current phase within your program design. If you're serious about improving your hockey performance, then click on the link below and get access to the brand new off-season programs that are now live. These are the most cutting-edge programs we have ever come out with here at Hockey Training, and I guarantee they will improve your all-round hockey performance. Click on that link and I'll see you on the inside. Until next time, stay strong, stay positive, and stay motivated.